Briefing on the outcomes of this week's cabinet meeting, Minister in the Presidency Khumbudzo Ntshavheni said that cabinet had approved the publication of the Mineral Resources Development Bill of 2025 for public comment. The bill is aimed at bolstering investor confidence and stimulating economic growth by reducing red tape and outlining regulatory systems for the mining industry. Let's discuss this bill now with mining analyst Peter Major. Peter, a very good afternoon. Well, certainly for us here in South Africa. Thank you very much for your time. I believe you are in the United States of America. You're not one of the so-called refugees, aren't you? Are you?
No, not yet. But if I don't get these transactions and deals done, I'll be an economic refugee. But so far, I'm still a businessman, a mining businessman. Good for you. Any hopes that you may get those deals going, given the frosty, at least certainly at this stage, relationship between South Africa and the United States? Very interesting question, Vuyo, because tomorrow at the airport, Spokane, Washington, I am picking up a South African businessman and a New York businessman that both want to have a look at the gold and silver mine that we are representing. So, yeah, it's interesting. It's bilateral investment. South Africans investing in America, and hopefully we're going to get some Americans investing back in South Africa again someday. But I don't know if this new bill is going to do it. Well, the mineral and petroleum resources, I mean, this bill, well, certainly according to the minister in the presidency, is going to address a range of regulatory gaps that have long hindered the sector's potential. Do you believe that to be the case? No, I don't believe that's the case. Unfortunately, I don't believe Cabinet has the experience or the knowledge that we need to pass legislation that will attract foreign investment. It was foreign investment that built these mines 150 years ago and kept them growing for 130 years, 120 years anyways. And it's lack of foreign investment that's keeping them from growing to their potential. And there's too much legislation that has chased away the existing attractiveness of our mines. So this bill seems to be concentrating on small and artisanal miners that didn't even used to exist. They only existed because this government changed the legislation so dramatically that the majority of our mines closed. Most of our gold mines were forced to close. So for government to concentrate on small miners who were created by being put out of their normal jobs, it's failing to address the issues that chased away foreign investment and prevent foreign investment from coming here. So this bill is not going to solve problems for South Africa. It's not going to bring investment. It's not going to stimulate interest or growth in our mining sector. Not even in light of what we saw in places like Stilfontein in the Northwest recently, where so many people died. The reason we have these small miners, there's a multitude of reasons. They lost their jobs. We used to have 550,000 people working on our gold mines alone. Today, we don't even have 90,000. So where did those 450,000 workers go? They've had to go to illegal mining. That's the trade they know best. And why do you have illegal miners now instead of legitimate miners? Well, the gold price is very high. And an illegal miner, he doesn't have to comply with a plethora of regulations that a legitimate miner has. And these layers and layers of legislation just keep adding hundreds and hundreds of rules to run a mining company now. And Cabinet doesn't understand that. They don't realize it. So they're writing up and passing these bills that are just putting further and further barricades in front of any investment. And it's making our mines less profitable and less attractive. You're not going to invest in something not profitable because you won't get your money back. It doesn't have to be an either or, does it?
No, it doesn't have to be. But you have to start with the big companies. We all know the success rate of China, how they put hundreds of millions of people to work. They didn't do it through little, small, artisanal, tiny, weeny little companies. They did it by creating large companies that could take on world-sized companies in the United States. It's these big companies that led to that huge economic growth that lifted China out of peasants growing rice and paddies to a dynamo, a leviathan that is head-to-head with the United States. Those are the policies we need, policies that promote large companies. Why is Elon Musk not in South Africa? Because he can't grow here. Why is Mark Shuttleworth and dozens of other billionaires that were South African not here? They can't grow. It's a negative policy and legislation.
Is that the only, or are those the only reasons, really? Why do people prefer to be in jurisdictions where they can make more money and pay less taxes, not necessarily because they can't grow here?
Hey, are these companies not paying taxes? Do you think China allows Jack Ma and all those gigantic companies not to pay tax? No way. Do you think America allows Elon Musk, Bill Gates, Apple, Amazon, Facebook, Google? You think they're not paying tax? Big corporations in South Africa pay the majority of tax. Big corporations in America, look at the tax. Little companies don't pay tax. Artisanal miners don't pay tax.
Well, I probably would go to the United States if I was Elon Musk, if it means that the president is going to listen to me and I'm going to be in all important meetings that discuss the future of the world. Wouldn't you do that as well, Peter?
Of course, who wouldn't? And you know, we had situations and people like that 120 years ago, Vuyu. We had giants here. Ernest Oppenheimer went to Jan Smuts. He said, I can get millions. I can get tens of millions of foreign money to come here. But we need positive legislation. We need certainty. We need government support. And Jan Smuts was not friends with the English. People forget that. Our government does not remind us of that fact. The English and the Boers, the Afrikaners, were not friends. Look what happened. There was genocide. And yet they realized they had to work together and create a favorable policy environment to get foreign capital. And they grew this country. And Jan Smuts went overseas and brought back South African engineers, like Mr. van der Bijl, who built Eskom and Iscor. Jan Smuts brought him back. He says, we have money and we need you. Come help your country. We have the right policies and legislation. And we built this country into a dynamo. We can do that. If government would have interaction with businessmen, South Africa could have double-digit growth rates just like China did.
Of course, I mean, this opens an opportunity. What Cabinet has done is to open an opportunity for more public engagements and comments. If you were to say something to them today, what would you say, Peter?
I would say concentrate your Minerals Act and make it investor attractive, not just investor friendly. But they never address the investors and potential investors in these bills. They talk about more enforcement of regulations. There's 1,000 regulations there they can't enforce. Now they want more. Why do you think Moses got 10 commandments from the Lord? Because he had 12 tribes that had too many rules. And he says, I can't manage all these people with all these rules. So God gave him 10 commandments. Everybody follows these, and then you work from there. So yeah, Cabinet doesn't understand. They concentrate on the wrong things in these bills, and it just keeps investment out and prevents existing miners from wanting to expand. Instead, they look overseas to expand. And we've had too much of our companies looking overseas to expand where they could expand right here with halfway decent policy and legislation.
Peter Major, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it.